What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliott Scott, and as you can see, is my camera crooked? Whatever. As you can see by the title below, we are going to talk about things that women of high value do that other women don't that attract men, okay? Now, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Just click the red button below. I will love you forever, along with the bell notification if you want to get my videos right away, ladies. So many of you say, I wish I got this video sooner. Well, the bell notification helps you with that. And if you want to work with yours truly or get my course, which jumps into much greater detail, links are down below, okay? So, the first thing I want to touch on is the fact that a lot of high-value women, while I think it's normal to seek validation just because that's kind of how, like, if you're not getting what you want, then you're going to seek it, right? That's just human nature. But I feel like to the extent that, high-value women don't go to the extent that other women go to. And what I mean by this is you kind of have to know your worth. And I mean that in a pro and con type of way, meaning like you have to do some serious self-reflection. I'm sorry to tell you this, maybe in your world you're a 10, but in everyone's world you're not. At the same time, I think you are probably higher than you value yourself, or a lot of women think they are. A lot of women treat themselves like they're sixes when they're probably higher than that. And that's what I'm trying to get at. You're seeking validation to an extent where you're coming off as a 6. And I hate using numbers because it's so subjective, it's so objectifying. And I don't mean numbers in terms of looks. I mean numbers in terms of value for each other, like where I see you in my, like, overall, okay, longevity, not just looks. There's a lot more to a person than looks. But I feel like a woman a high value woman, she carries herself way better than a lot of other women do. And a lot of women come off strong. You start your game strong, but then you kind of fall off when you start liking a guy. And that's the main problem. That's where you start to receive or try to validate where you stand with him by seeking IOIs, indicators of interest, okay? And that is a huge problem. So if you kind of want to get a guy and you want to build attraction, you got to have confidence. You got to say it with your chest. You got to walk like you have something of value, and a lot of women do not do that. Number 2, and I talk about this in my course quite a bit, I talk about how high-value women don't just focus on their emotions. They just don't focus on men and you know, like, I'm going to do this because I like him. There's a lot more to a relationship, unfortunately, than emotions, okay? There's compatibility. Is it sustainable? Is he healthy? Meaning healthily, yeah. Emotionally available for a relationship. Did he just get out of one? What am I looking for? Am I being honest with myself? Those type of things. And I would say one of the top reasons women come to me, one of the top reasons a lot of women get into the situation they're in is because, again, it's kind of number one, they're seeking validation, and I think they spread their net so wide because they're looking for somebody. And I feel like a lot of women, listen ladies, I feel like a lot of women spread the net way too wide and they get guys that they like, but just because you like a guy doesn't mean he's relationship material, doesn't mean he's ready for one, doesn't mean you guys are compatible. Women come to me all the time, oh, I never had chemistry like this before. Hey, great, you know what? Guys have chemistry with every effing woman out there. Trust me. We get chemistry. We have a lot of chemistry with a lot of women, okay? So chemistry itself is not that important. Not that it's not needed. It is needed. A guy will never commit to a woman who he doesn't have commitment or chemistry with, but it is easier for men to find it, I believe, than women, okay? So a high-value woman would never just focus on her feelings for a guy. She looks at the logistics and sees, is this even worth pursuing? Because at the end of the day, there's a biological clock, and I know everyone's getting older and they want a relationship and they want to grow old with somebody, but if you're wasting 3 months here, 3 months there, 6 months here, it adds up, okay? Number 3, and again, I focus a lot on this in my course, Attraction Academy, link down below. I focus immensely on this. I talk about reciprocal investment. A high value woman either matches a man's investments or slightly lower, like a 55-45 type of thing. Him, right? 55 him. She never goes over. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean you can't reach out. That doesn't mean you can't show interest. That doesn't mean you can't flirt. That doesn't mean you can't give in. But it has to be rewarded. There has to be a reciprocal investment. And that's built out of interest in each other, trust, reciprocity, obviously. If you keep on doing and he doesn't, 2 things happen. 1, you're creating context that I'm more interested or the woman's more interested than he is, number 1. Number 2, you're making it very convenient for him that he can get away with a lot of things. I tell my clients all the time, if I can get away with saying, hey, come over, and then you come over and I get the same benefits, to where I get the same benefits where if I were to take you out on a nice date, spend my resources on you, time, energy, effort, money, and all that kind of stuff, and at the end of the day, you still come back to my place and we hook up, the guy's going to go to the path of least resistance. That's what women don't understand. Men always go towards the path of least resistance. So you have to have kind of an on and off switch on the investment. Hey, there are times it's okay to go over there and hang out and have fun and talk and flirt and cuddle and hook up and stuff like that. But I suggest you do that after you show each other genuine interest and not on the first or second date. A lot of women do it on the first, second, third date. Not a big fan of that, at least on the first or second. And then they wonder why they're in the situation they're in. Why would I have to invest any more in you? Unless I'm genuinely interested, but you don't know that in the beginning if you put out too early. Okay, and then women wonder why they're in the situations they're in where he's not investing anymore because his resources are better spent elsewhere. You didn't do your detective work. It happens, but it's the truth, okay? Going on to number 4, she values sex as a Now, I don't like sex being used as a bargaining chip. I don't think it should be used as a bargaining chip, but she values it as a bargaining chip. Again, never use sex as a bargaining chip. That will not work. You are not the only woman with a vagina. He will go elsewhere, especially if you're doing it and he realizes you're playing games with it, okay? However, she does value sex. She does know that is something that he is after and that it is something that should be cherished and that it should be... Women always ask me, when's the right time to put out? When you trust the guy. Okay, now, of course, you can put out whenever you want. If you want to go out, have fun, hook up, and you're just looking for a quick thing, awesome, great, you love sex, go do it. But when it comes to a relationship and using this as, I hate saying transaction, but that's kind of what the guy is looking for, whether he likes a woman or just wants a one-night stand. A woman of value only gives it to men worthy. I guess that's the best way. I could have just said it like that. She only gives it to men worthy, not emotional. Again, nothing wrong with that, but she doesn't go just based on emotions. I really like this guy, and we had a really nice date, and the second date was awesome. This is going well. Let's hook up. No. If a guy wins your trust over 1 or 2 dates, then you need to be a little more. You need to have a little more of a filter, okay? So, ladies, guys always invest heavily in the beginning. Just know that, okay? So if you're going to put out, just think, well, Elliot says guys put out heavily in the beginning, so is this genuine or not? Maybe I should wait and see. That's a good way to look at it. Now, again, if you want to have sex with a guy and it's natural and it's natural chemistry and it just flows towards it and it feels amazing, then go for it. Awesome. I do not suggest holding out in that sense. However, a woman knows that men have to win over the trust, and only men are worthy are worth it. And 5, you are a master negotiator. A lot of women need to be better at negotiating. A lot of the times, a guy comes and goes, or a guy, he starts yapping off and you fall for what he says because you like him and you have a like bias and you're justifying instead of qualifying him, and then you wonder why you're in the situation you're in. Listen, every single thing you guys do and say, or what you go along with, or what you agree or disagree with, is a negotiation. So when a guy says, I really like you, I just don't want a relationship right now, but if I did, it would be with you, and then you keep him around, you just negotiated that you're okay with friends with benefits, right? If you go over consistently hooking up with the guy instead of him taking you out, you just negotiated that he doesn't have to invest in you. If a guy pulls away and then comes back and you let him back in, you just negotiated that it's okay for him to do so. You have to make it very clear what you're looking for, ladies. A high value woman knows this. And with that being said, ladies, there's the 5 things that I believe are most important when it comes to high value women, what they're looking for, and that, ladies, I believe are the 5 things that are most important that high value women do that other women do not, especially when it comes to attraction and keeping a guy and having a guy value you. Now, again, if you haven't, please subscribe. Just click the red button below. And if you want to work with yours truly, links are down in the description. Okay, ladies? I love you all. Take care and peace.